can't think of another hatch that so consistently brings as many large brown trout to the surface for so much of the season on so many trout streams right across North America. For 2 weeks or more than 3 months, the brown drake mayfly is a big brown trout magnet. Join us as we cover our thoughts to fly fishing this wonderful mayfly event. Greetings, guys, from a very sunny brown trout stream.
Oh, yeah, it's bright out here.
It is, and we're here to talk about the brown drake hatch. And you're going, why are these guys out here talking about a brown drake hatch when it's bright and sunny? Well, because there's no brown drakes and there's no fish rising. So if nothing's happening on a brown trout stream, what better time to talk about something than now?
Exactly, rather than fishing, right?
Yeah. So we're out here, and we do want to talk, take, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes and just talk about brown drake hatches.
We do, and I think maybe a great place to start, guys, is first of all to say that, you know, in everything that we're going to talk about here, there are no absolutes in fly fishing. You've heard us say that, you know, there just aren't. But we are going to talk from our perspective and our experiences as to everything that we kind of know about brown drakes, right? And that's what we're going to end up showing you in this video, is how we fished them and had some great success.
And it's funny because you stole my thunder on that one. I was going, okay, that's what I'm going to say now. What the other point I wanted to share was we published the Alberta Fishing Guide for about 5 years. It's a print magazine here in Alberta. It sells about 25,000 copies annually. And during the time we did that and coordinating all the articles and all the writing, two things. One, there's only so many inches in columns in print media, which means only so much information can be shared, and it comes across, to your point, as absolute. No. For expediency and for the economy of how many inches of columns you have in text, you can only share so much information, and there has to be a poise. I remember talking to Jim McLennan and Ross Purnell back in the day doing an article for Fly Fisherman magazine. It's like, no, you have to have that poise, because you have to come across with a bit of poise of your experience and a bit more definitiveness to things in order to wrap it up in a magazine article.
Yeah.
And that comes across more absolute. And that's why Amelia said that. No, you know, you flip through a magazine article, it says, well, for 2 weeks in mid-June, that's when the brown drake hatches. Well, why am I seeing it on my birthday in the middle of August? Well, So those are the kinds of things we're going to get into where you don't have the opportunity to share in a magazine article. The other thing about writing in magazine articles is, I remember saying while we were editing that thing, the more I read, the less I want to write. And there's a lot of people that want to wax on about this, that, or the other thing, just like I am now, ironically enough. But we just want to give you our experience without being too flowery and without focusing on the biggest fish. We just want to share about the hatch and where different things can happen. So it's relevant to you, because my experience doesn't much matter unless I convey it in a way that is applicable to you wherever you are in your fishing and things to look out for.
I guess the one thing, guys, that makes me pretty excited about this topic is I have loved bugs since the time I first started fly fishing. You know, Dave took me into actually the Ram Canyon very, very first time back in my early 20s. Golden stonefly hatch was everywhere. And I think the thing that drew me and I thought was so fascinating is, here was a bug that didn't bite you. You know, stoneflies, mayflies, like, it didn't bite you, it didn't bother you, but it was fascinating. And it was so neat to see, you know, trout, a species that would eat these bugs. And I think since then, I just love, I guess what I love talking about bugs is because of the fact that when bugs are hatching and a brown drake is hatching, a stream can come alive. And that is something so special. It's what turns you on, I think, really to fly fishing in so many ways. It engages you. And then also, you know, it's just the fact that you want to engage your mind to that specific moment of that fish, and especially larger bugs like brown drakes can make you do that and really hone in on your skills and what you can do and bring to the table to catch that fish.
So brown drakes are found anywhere from the Rocky Mountain West all the way right across the continent. They're an amazing hatch available. You know, a lot of lakes have them, a lot of ponds, beaver ponds, spring creeks, rivers, big muddy rivers, everything, anywhere, pretty much in North America. Phenomenal hatch. Very similar to the Hexagenia that way. So brown drakes are found in really, everybody wants to say, oh, mud, 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 mud. Well, it's not just mud. You can have marl, you can have gravel and sand with marl or mud. Any mix with a little bit of mud or kind of, that marly, organic-y, not full.
Silty.
Yeah, silty. Yep. Anything like that is prime habitat for the nymphs that basically burrow and swim around in. They're not clingers, they're not crawlers, they're kind of burrower, and they swim as well. Any water like that, it's not going to be in fast water, and the reason for that is fast water scours through to gravel and rock. So you really want to look at that medium to slow, and as well as the still edge waters of slower reaches of runs. It could be a fast water. It could be a fast water that spills into long glides, and it's where those long glides settle out all the sediment and the silt and the mud. That's where you'll find the nymphs.
Absolutely. So I know some of the experiences and memories I had in places like the Bow River, for example. You'll get deflection points. So those medium to larger size rivers, you get deflection points, guys. And I know you all know what I'm talking about because all of you has probably drifted a river. It's so common throughout North America. So those points, especially if there's any kind of mud and gravel kind of leading into those points, and then, as you know what I'm talking about, quite often there's a big old back eddy, and in that big old back eddy you'll get the mud, you'll get the silt, you'll get all that Dave's talking about, and it's a prime spot for a bigger fish to cruise that, cruise up the seam line of the deflection point and then cruise all around in that back eddy. So those are great spots.
Yeah, and we talk about the Bow because we live in Alberta, Canada, but the Missouri River, everybody in the Missouri is tricos and small. Well, if you go kind of Craig downstream, that Missouri River, it slows down, it widens, it